What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. My name is Chris. Thanks for joining me on my journey to 10,000 live listings on eBay. Today, I'm going to go over eBay business policies and how it saved me a lot of time. I'm just going to share my screen so you guys can see what my plan is and why I have decided to do this. Basically, what I'm aiming for is to create, here, let me close this real quick. My goal is to basically streamline everything so that when I'm doing my listing, it's super clear on what I'm trying to accomplish. So as an example, I have a default payment policy that I change all of my listings to, which is just offering PayPal.com as my payment method, and I do not have local pickup. It's not worth it for me to meet up with people generally. Even on an expensive item, like as an example, I just sold that record play for $500. It's about an hour drive. I'm still gonna just ship it just because of the time savings of going there and back. The 2 hours of time is not really worth it. So I just have a default no local pickup as my payment policy, PayPal. There are other methods, like you can accept credit cards and such, but I don't allow that. So PayPal only. The second policy I use is a 60-day return policy with a 20% restocking fee. I'm actually gonna add that I waive this if you return in 7 days. And the reason why I do that is I don't mind if people return things. I just want them to return it quickly so that I can get it back up for sale. And that generally prevents people from renting my items. And if they are going to rent my items, at least they'll only rent it for a week, because then they don't have to pay anything if they just send it back within 7 days. So those are my two business policies. Again, this is only if you just use eBay directly to list. If you guys decide to use InkFrog or 6-bit, which I'm using all three, I want to test all three to see like what I like better and what I like most. So I'm still working on downloading parallels from my computer so that I can run both of them pretty easily. So thanks guys for joining me. I'm going to take a Q&A after I go over my policies. And if you guys have any comments on what's going on, you can please put it in the comments section. It'll show up when other people look. So we're trying to get a good discussion going on using eBay business policies. So I charge $5.99 for as a flat rate for USPS first class. This is anything 1 pound or less. And I do that because it just makes it easier for me to just I pre-weigh all my items, but I just offer a flat shipping rate instead of calculated, just to make it easier for me accounting wise. If you guys look at the retail price, this is the USPS Postal Services rates for shipping. It ranges from $267 to $665 is the retail amount if you go to the post office and ship something. And you can see OSM is a shipping company that provides even more commercial rates. You can see that it's almost $1 cheaper at 16 ounces, which is crazy. So if you guys ship at least 200 packages a day, you can get a commercial account like OSM, and you'll be able to ship stuff for almost 90 cents cheaper as a commercial rate. And OSM is pretty cool. I'm looking into it and trying to figure out how I can get to 200 packages a day if I even want to go that route, just because it's pretty cool seeing how cheap you can get it with a commercial rate. So one of the reasons why, I'm getting a lot of common questions like, hey, Chris, what if I ship and it doesn't end up being the amount? So I charged the customer $3, but it was actually $267. Am I supposed to refund them the difference? Because I don't want to overcharge people. And I can see that, and I understand the moral or ethical dilemma with that. But really, if you think about it, the rate is different depending on what discount you have. If you're a commercial shipper, I've seen rates as low as $150 for first class mail. So those giant booksellers that sell stuff for like $4 free shipping, they're still making money because they have such a large commercial discount for shipping. And that's something I think is very cool, because you can still make money even selling some stuff super cheap if you do enough volume. And I think it's important to realize that your discounted rate is going to be different depending on if you're a top rated seller, if you do a lot of volume. So there's no way to charge the customer exactly what you pay, if that makes sense. It's difficult because unless you're entering it in manually each time based on your discount, and that would take up too much time. Most sellers have flat rates. It's also important to realize that Emil is asking in the comments section if these are hardwired policies. they are for me. You can create your own policies. When I make listings, I pick one of these 11 policies. Policy number 1 and 2 are default. Every single one has that. It defaults to first class mail since most of the items I sell are small, but I have tons of other policies for different reasons, which I'll go into in just a second. And especially since I make use of the flat rate as much as I can. So that is, there's literally 1, 2, 3, there's 6 different options that I use that are flat rate. And just so you guys know, my charge is for shipping and handling. And so I charge a little bit for handling. That's the reason for the discrepancy. And it is a shipping and handling charge, not just a shipping charge for me. It's a flat rate. So I actually indicate that in my listings, letting people know that I do charge a handling charge, and you don't have to include your supplies in the cost, but I understand what Candace Pitt is saying in the comments as far as having a supply charge. You can build that in, and some people just, they say that they sort of just break even because the customer pays a little bit more, but we have to pay a little bit of the shipping supply. And perhaps if you're charging for the time to put in, the time that you are putting into the the shipping process, some people will call that a handling charge. So it's up to you guys for what you want to do. Guys, there's no one eBay. You can do eBay however you want. I have been doing better since I started charging for shipping and then reducing the price. And what I mean by that is that for me, $9.99 plus $5.99 shipping sells faster than $15.99 free shipping. So we're talking about the identical amount of revenue coming into my store, but a customer sees $9.99 plus $5.99. And based on the information I heard from eBay Open, customers typically search low to high. Now, I also search low to high when I'm browsing listings, but I also do low to high, including shipping. So for me, total price is the most important, which I think is the case for most consumers. But if you do low price, it defaults to lowest price plus shipping because most people are charging a reasonable amount for shipping. As you guys can see, I'm charging roughly $2 more for shipping as far as the actual cost I'm paying with my commercial rate versus what I charge the customers, about a $2 difference. And that's just basically my handling charge and includes the material, etc. And you can see retail wise, sometimes it's actually cheaper. So like if, you know, I charge $5.99 for an item and it's actually £1, they would pay more if they went to the post office than they would through me, because $6.65 is the commercial rate for £1. So it's interesting. Brad's making a good point right now with the fast and free logo. You need that. And that's why I actually have 2 free options. If the category is very, very competitive, I will offer free shipping to get that boost in ranking and get that fast and free icon. I only ship first class or priority for the most part. Unless the item is very heavy, then I will go on the calculated multi-option shipping for heavier items. Heavier items, typically over 2 pounds, I'll offer a ground option like USPS Parcel Post or FedEx Smart Post. And that's something that I do because I let the customer choose what they want. Even in this multi-option, I also include priority. So I guess I will include that in the notes here. I use USPS Parcel Post, UPS Ground, FedEx Smart Post. So I offer all 3 of these options, but I also offer USPS Priority, even though it's usually extremely expensive. Speed matters. So speed matters. So some people will pay a lot of extra money for that. It just depends on what you're doing. And also, guys, that doesn't mean I won't offer priority shipping on a heavy item and it for free if it's expensive for the customer. I mean, even if it's expensive for me, meaning like I might ship a vacuum cleaner free priority just because there's 20 other vacuum cleaners in the category and I want to try to stand out above it. So I like to sell stuff that's more unique. So I think the more unique the item is, the less shipping and handling matters, because if people want the item, they want the item, they're going to pay no matter what. And I just think it makes the cost of the item look cheaper. And that's the reason why I do it. My number one reason, I'm not actually going to type this in. My number one reason I charge for shipping is it makes the item cost cheaper. going to put that right here. So that's the number one reason I do it. So for what it's worth, in case you guys, not that you guys necessarily care about my opinion, but that is just what the reason why I do it, because I want the item cost to look cheaper. Um, Cool. So these are the policies that I use. You can make your own, but it just streamlines it for me, just so I can take a look at it and get an idea of, what I'm charging. And I use this when I'm out sourcing. Do I get to get an idea of, what I'm going to charge the customer, and to let me know that, like, even at 99 cents plus shipping, if I get the item for cheap enough, I'm pretty much breaking even with this $1 or $2 margin in here if I can get my items for pretty cheap. So Adams is saying he used to get returns, but he charges shipping both ways and a 20% restocking fees. It's true. They can claim an item not as described or an INAD request to avoid paying return shipping. That's why I waive it if they return it within 7 days, because I don't want that many INADs filed against my account. So I'm just like, hey, and I'm going to include this in the thank you card that I eventually send out to customers, saying, if you guys don't like the item for any reason, please just send it back within 7 days. I'll even pay the return shipping if I have to, just to avoid the INAD, because some people legitimately, I've described the item wrong. It just depends on how you do that. So doing it yourself lifestyle is asking, do I have a policy for my employees? I would like to pay an employee $1 per item to get my item on the eBay. And the way I've broken that down is 75 cents per photo, and then 25 cents for a virtual assistant to complete the draft. And the photos are going to go in the Dropbox. And it just depends on how you structure your business. Right now, I am not talented enough, to be honest with you, to provide listings, like a listing structure that employees can do without making mistakes. When I have somebody else do it, they don't do it at the same quality that I do it. And I'm really learning how to fix that, but I want to make sure that I get my listings to stay the same quality. I have hired 4 people so far, and all 4 of them do not list the same quality that I list at. And that's not their fault. That's my fault for not being organized enough to give them the procedure. Because when I go to a job, I am fully expecting my employer, or if I'm going somewhere as a contractor, I do not want to be creative. I want you to explain to me exactly how I'm supposed to earn my income. Tell me, like, how do you want the pictures taken? Don't tell me to take pictures a certain way. I take it that way, and then you say that I didn't do a good job. I want to know exactly how I'm supposed to take the photos. So guys, for me, VAs, that's a good question. I get my VAs on Upwork.com. So that's the website that I use. I've hired over 50 different virtual assistants, and for different projects that I've done in my life. So I'm pretty experienced in hiring virtual assistants. I'm not necessarily good, but I've hired a lot of them for different stuff. And I think it's important for you guys to take a look at virtual assistants, just to see sometimes you can get somebody with a master's degree for $6 an hour, just because it's different standard of living. My virtual assistant right now for my marketing company, I pay between $4 and $6 an hour, depending on what he's doing. And it's the equivalent of 60 to 80 grand where he lives. If he can get the $10 an hour, it's the equivalent of a 6-figure income in the United States for him. And he is in Pakistan. So it just depends on where you live, guys. It's different. I think we're in a global economy now. It's good to take a look at what's available worldwide. And also in some areas, it's definitely scary. For example, he has to hide from his friends that he makes $4 to $6 an hour, because he might get robbed. So, I mean, you can count your lucky stars depending on where you live. It's definitely, just be grateful for what you have. Think about what's good and what's bad. Also, Adam is making the point that a lot of people have done tests to see if it affects sales. And some people say that it doesn't. Some people say that it does. The only reason I do it, I don't know if I can make this more clear, is that I think it makes the item look cheaper. So I'm actually going to make this red. So this is my reason. So you can have your own reasons for for whatever you want to do. This is the only reason why I charge for shipping, because I think it makes the item cost look cheaper. Obviously, the total price is the same. So let's see. Shazad is asking, if you sold 1,200 items with 36 listings in 30 days, how would you work out your sell-through rate? It depends on how many total items you have. So for example, you may only have one listing, but if 1,200 in stock, if you sold all of them, you would have a 100% sell-through rate. So it depends on how many items you have in stock. If you're going for a total sell-through rate, it's based on every single piece of inventory you have. It doesn't depend on the number of quantity of listings you have. So these are the different policies that I use, and they are all flat rate. So when you look at these, you can see this is what the post office charges. OSM is a commercial rate, but they do not have further discounts for priority mail, just so you guys know. If you get a commercial discount, you're shipping hundreds of packages a day, you still don't get a cheaper rate for USPS flat rate. From my basic research, at the 200 package a day level, which is still not that big, but just letting you guys know that there's not a commercial rate better than eBay's discount for USPS priority. There is for first class, but not priority. So down here in these two columns, I still use free shipping. It's not like I don't do free shipping. If I'm going to sell in a category that's super competitive, like shoes or brand new items, I'm probably going to offer free shipping so I can get that boost in rank. So it just depends on where you're at, guys. Everybody runs their business differently, and I just want you guys to know you can do whatever you like in your business. I'm going to show you the different packages right now to give you guys an idea of some examples of how I ship. So let's see if I can pull this up. Let me know if you guys can see me, and I'll show you the different packages that I ship. Let's see. Yeah, let me know if you guys can see. I think you can. I just want to make sure before I show you guys these packages to give you an idea of what different packages cost to ship. And then let me know if you guys use business policies. Shout out to the Hustle Bee Ken on Instagram. He's in my Patreon group. He only has one shipping policy, which is USPS free priority. Literally only one shipping policy. Everything ships identical. So, I mean, there's nothing more easy than that. Like, I'm on YouTube talking about eBay. So like, I'm trying all different kinds of processes to let you guys know what to do differently, what to pick. So I'm just letting you guys know that I am experimenting, right? The easiest way to run your business would be just to have one shipping policy. There are gigantic sellers that have flat rate. Some people say it's $10 flat. I mean, whatever you guys want to do, it's all different. I want to give you guys an example of, this is a 4-ounce package shipped in a eBay padded envelope. So this is something you can get as a free shipping supply. So I got this item basically from the eBay store coupon code. So I ordered some of these small poly mailers. This is an electronic, so it's a little bit fragile. So I wanted to ship it in a padded poly mailer. And I also do this with video games. And this is under the 4-ounce mark. So this is going to be $2.61 with the commercial rate that we pay. So pretty cheap way to do it, but I'm still going to charge $4.99 for this item. So to make it easier. Now, if it's a really competitive, let's say video game, and there's 20 of them listed, I'm probably going to do free shipping. So for the most part, I'm going to charge pre-owned unless it's a new item, just to be honest. Okay. So here's another item that is a book. So this book, I'm actually going to ship USPS media mail. I only have one book for sale, and I have multiple quantity of it. So each time it sells, I actually put a piece of cardboard around it to protect it, and I throw it in here, and I ship it media mail for under £1. So I don't have a shipping policy for books, but I probably should. I'll put that on my list to ship, but I only have one book in stock. So, and I have 18 of them left. Actually, I'm sorry, I have 2 books. I have my own book, and then I have one other book that I'm selling that is a golf book. So that one I got multiple quantity of. I ship media mail. Guys, if it has advertising in it, you can't ship it. As an example, I sell a lot of comic books. You can't sell comic book. You can't send comic books media mail. They qualify as first class mail, but not media mail. So old and new treasures. Wait, hold on a second. I wanted to bring up a question on electronics. Oh, M Banner says, you mail electronics in a box regardless. Too cautious to trust the padded. That's a good point. So even though this is in a padded envelope, it can still be crushed, right? So this has a rigid box in it. So that's why I'm sending it like this. So it actually is in a box, but I understand what you're saying. You probably should ship it in an additional box, double box it to make sure that it works really well. That's just personal preference. Let's see, first class is insured up to $50 and priority is insured up to $100. I actually did not know that. So you guys know, each time I share one of these videos, I probably learn more from the chat than I actually do from the content that I have provided. So it's great to do these, guys. If you guys want to be on social media, it's a great idea to meet people in the community because they'll help you level up really fast. And my sales are starting to really pick up. So it is great. So now I also use the eBay poly mailers. These are 9x12, and I like using these for my bin filing system because I can fit 30 shirts in one bin, or 20 pairs of jeans, or 12 pairs of shoes. So for me, looking at it, shirts take up the least amount of room. And if you use a 9x12 or a 9x11 poly mailer, you can fit most clothing items in it. But if you decide to go with a 10x13 or a 12x15 poly mailer, you can actually fit almost every single clothing item in those. And I think that that's a good way to do it. And you can see that I folded over this to get rid of some of the slack to make this package smaller and more compact instead of more flimsy. So I like to fold my packages so they're like a little bit more solid than just really flat and long. So here is a padded flat rate envelope. Now I fit a pair of shoes in it and I used the eBay shipping tape to tape down the ears. I don't normally do that because I think that some post office carriers don't like it when you modify the envelope, and folding the envelope ears down sometimes is considered modifying the envelope. However, when you read the USPS postal site, which I actually have posted in a previous video, it doesn't say on there you can't modify it in this manner, because they're saying specifically you cannot modify it to make it bigger, right? And I'm actually making it more compact by folding down the ears. Now, I've also heard in different forums that you can't fold down the ears, and so on some packages I don't. So like I would prefer not to, since some forums say that, even though it's not against the rules. Now, this is a USPS cardboard flat rate envelope. For me, this ships out for $5.75. You can see I've reinforced the seam, right? And inside this is this. So I have my item is protected inside of a poly mailer, inside of the cardboard. So I would agree that this is not as good a presentation as a padded flat rate envelope. It looks fine to me, and also it's double packaged, meaning when they get this, it's going to be another package inside it to protect it. I've been able to maintain perfect feedback from shipping. No one has said it's a poor presentation. All of my negative feedback has come from poor communication. So again, not from the presentation, more from poor communication. I think it's important for you guys to take a look. And yes, I really want to make sure that this is going to be protected. And it says on the website, you cannot encase the package, right? So this isn't encased, but it's reinforced. Every single seam is reinforced. I actually put a piece of bubble wrap around this pair of shoes and a box. So I put the shoes inside of a box, and I put a piece of bubble wrap around it, and I still fit it in here. It's a size 9 men's shoe, which is sort of my limit for padded envelopes. So just something to consider. Here's another package. This is a hat. I made a video on how to ship hats inside of a sandwich bag. So I put a piece of bubble wrap around the hat. I put it inside of a sandwich bag. I blew air into the sandwich bag to make it like a air bubble. And then, so it's an air bubble, and it also has a piece of bubble wrap around it, and it still fit under the 4-ounce rule, which is the cheapest rate that we can do. So in the sun by the beach, the reason why I fold down the ears is because I don't want it to get caught in the processing machines. So I've had packages shown up torn with some of the ears torn off, and I don't get a negative feedback, and usually the item is fine because I double package them. But I've just heard that the ears get caught sometimes in the machines, and that scares me. So I don't want the ears to get caught. My postmaster told me it's well within the rules, but just because it's within the rules doesn't mean that people won't, like post office may still decline it and say, no, this has been modified. Even though on the website, it just says you can't modify it to make it bigger. It doesn't say on the site you can't modify it to make it smaller. So it just depends on how you interpret it. It's considered the post office Bible. It's up for interpretation, but it does not explicitly say you can't fold down the ears. Let's see. That's true. Packages, and also, if you guys want something, if you're shipping something fragile, you want to ship it by air if you can. Make your customer pay a little bit more because air is a lot more, it's handled a lot softer than it is if you ship ground. So again, I ship mostly in the flat rate envelope or the first class mail, or I'm sorry, the first class poly mailer. And if I decide to do, this is crazy, this is gonna get me a lot of hate. This is a legal flat rate envelope, right? So it's supposed to be for documents. That's what it's designed for. This envelope is designed for documents, even though it looks like a football, right? And I'm gonna get probably 20 negative comments or people hating on me on this video because this is supposed to be used for documents. But if you look at the policy, it says that for USPS, the rate is for the cost of the flat rate refers to the price, not the shape. So even though that's not flat, right? Guys, this is not flat, right? This is flat. This is a football, right? So when you turn a flat rate envelope into a football and you reinforce the seams, it technically still qualifies. It still counts. I did not actually modify the envelope to go bigger. And to be honest with you, it seals perfectly fine without any tape. Okay, so like I've dropped these off at the post office and they make it to my customer just fine. But I still like to reinforce the seams because this looks like I took a little bit more care to ensure that the item safely arrives. But it's up to you guys. You can do whatever you want. Please read the USPS Postal Service disclaimer and decide for yourself. But I've read it. I even posted it in one of my last videos. Like there's nothing in there that says that it has to be flat. In fact, it explicitly says in there, it refers to the price. So again, I'm not doing this topic for drama. It's just what I do in my business. You can do whatever you like in your business. I'm not saying it's going to work. I mean, they do advertise if it fits, it ships. And technically my items do fit in there. Any size 9 or under pair of shoes is easily fitting in one of these. So here's another. I used to order 6x9 poly mailers, and I use them for t-shirts and for small electronics like iPods and such. And I would basically build a box around the item and a piece of bubble wrap and put it inside the 6x9. It's a nice little compact package to shipped out. I only have a few of these envelopes left. I've thus switched to the supplies provided by the USPS shipping supply company. Also, you guys probably know I have picked up a bunch of sponsors. So like I'm getting a lot of shipping supplies for free now. So it's interesting as I review the different companies, I'll let you guys know what's good and what's bad. I'm not going to refer companies that suck. So people who are reaching out to me and saying, hey, try our printer or try our shipping supplies, I'm going to take a look and see if they do a good job. And then I'll let you guys know. If it sucks, I'm not going to promote it on my channel to let you guys know that. As an example, I did in my last jean video, I said that there was a jean brand that sells well for me, and somebody said that I need to be careful when I say that because just because it sells well for me doesn't mean it sells well for everyone. So agreed. So I'm just gonna say I don't know how to make it more clear that eBay is different for every single person. I'm not trying to tell you how to do eBay. I'm just sharing how I do eBay. And for however you guys want to do it, it's great. Share with me. Let me know if things are working great for you or things are not working great for you. Please let me know. I'll share it with people. And let's take a look. I think there actually is a limit trainer stash on the flat rate envelope. I think it's 20 pounds. Is it 100 pounds? Is it really 100 pounds is the weight limit? I'm not sure. I actually haven't looked at the weight limit on the flat rate envelope, but I know it's pretty heavy. That's a good question. I will definitely look that up. Oh, 70. Thank you. So Queen Bee just said that it's a 70-pound weight limit for the envelope. So if you can fit a 70-pound object in this thing. I don't know what would weigh 70 pounds and fit in this envelope. I really don't know. 70 pounds, man, that is heavy. I don't know what would fit in here. Probably coins. Maybe if you filled it with quarters, it could be seven. No, there's actually, is it even possible to fill this with 70 pounds? Huh. I'm actually gonna, maybe I'll do a video on that. Can you actually fit 70 pounds of stuff into a flat rate envelope? What object would be that heavy? And then you're allowed to reinforce the seams. It says that. It just says that you can't encase it. So I think what that means is maybe you can't have another wrapper on top of this. I think if you have tape, it's legit. What's the heaviest flat rate package you guys have shipped in the chat? For me, it's only like 3-4 pounds. Gold. Is gold heavy enough? Gold's pretty heavy. You've gotten 30 pounds in here? Holy crap. Because, okay, here's just what I'm thinking. Like a barbell, right? A 45-pound plate. A 45-pound plate is super heavy. How could you couldn't fit it in this envelope? There's no way you could fit it in there. Lead, batteries. Maybe batteries would work. My eBay store is the Low-Key Husky. I have 2 stores, actually. If you DM me, I'll share both stores with you on Instagram. But really, I just like to share one since too many people are browsing my store, and I don't get it. Sort of hurts my search ranking to have too many people looking at it. A 50-pound wine opener fit in here? Holy crap. So Debbie has fit a 50-pound wine opener in a padded flat or a flat rate envelope. I'm not sure if it's padded or not. That's insane. How did you do that? So if you ship a 70-pound object inside of this and you tape all the seams, I wonder if that's legit. Maybe I will try that. I don't know how we could do it, but I'm gonna put up a challenge on Instagram right now. Thank you, Debbie, for letting me know that you did 50. What's your Instagram handle, Debbie? I'm gonna shout you out on that because that's the record. I don't know anybody who shipped anything heavier than that. Gold weighs by the ounce. That's true, Clearance Ninja. I just don't know if you guys could really fill this with 70 pounds. That would be really hard. 70 pounds is like that's like a 45-pound plate and a 25-pound plate. How could you fit that inside of here? I want to see the wine opener. Message me a picture of it or the brand or something. I want to know how can they make something that heavy, and how could oh, you corrected yourself. Let's see. Oh, you fit it in the large box. Okay. But still, the envelope weight limit is 70 pounds. How do you do that? It says that, right? Am I taking crazy pills? It says 70 pounds. And I wonder if they would have, it seems like they should have a flat rate size-based first class mail. I think that they should. I think if they allowed a clothing item to ship a flat rate $4, regardless of how heavy it was, it would greatly stimulate our economy. What do you guys think? It was like, this ships for $5.75, right? And a full 1 pound package this small is going to ship for $4.30. You would think that a super, super heavy parcel that's this size, 9 by 12 or a little bit smaller, would have a rate in between flat rate and this. We would see what happens. Yeah, it would help a lot of eBay businesses if you could ship a 2 pound thing for $4, right? If you could ship a pair of jeans for $4, I feel like the jean market would explode. All right, Steven, maybe we can talk on see if we can how we can fit 70 pounds into this priority mail. Yeah, definitely lead would weigh 70 pounds. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna run to the post office and I'm gonna ship the record player today. So I'm gonna make a video on that, on how I package that up so it doesn't break. And everyone have a great day. Email me if you have any questions. Take care.